What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Barefoot Garage. It's 9:14 time again here at the shop. We're gonna do a little Swaybar R&R on this 73. We got a bent end link, and we're gonna change the bushings for the easy install kit from 914 Rubber. All right, so we are on the passenger side here, and the sway bar is right here, and it goes through underneath the gas tank is right here. On this carbureted car, you can see the regulator and the pumper way down here in this pan. So the sway bar comes through and it sandwiches a bushing right here. And there's a plate on the inside to stiffen this up. So if you had a non-sway bar car like mine, there's actually a welded reinforcement plate right here. This car has it from the factory, but you can kind of see that metal extra piece right here that we have added to the car. This is the original paint. So end link, the arm comes over, and then our end link comes down like this. Pretty thin end link. So we're gonna be changing the bushings that are here, as well as the one that's in here. So we'll go ahead and pull this apart, and I'll show you how we're gonna change them out. So we got our drop link off, we have our arm off. Tip on this, you gotta push the sway bar to the opposite side like that in order for this to clear. If you don't, you won't make it past the strut right here. So push the sway bar in, then you can take this off. This just pinches down. So this is one of the bushings that we're gonna replace, and having replaced one of these before, it is a huge bear to get over, and you can see this one's actually already cracked. So quick note, this car came with a factory sway bar, this reinforcement with the threaded nuts is here. If you're dealing with a car that has had it added, there's a plate on the other side of this wall in the gas tank area. So you just need to be careful that that doesn't drop or get misaligned. I was gonna rotate it, put a bolt back in, hold it in place, rotate it back, put it back on. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this retaining thing off if we can. It's pretty stuck on there, so this may have to be a two-handed job. All right, it's pretty stuck, so we're gonna have to require some motivation to pop that off. You can see that this bushing is just toast, so I may see if we can get this bushing off in a different way or cut it or something like that. So we'll go ahead and slide that back. I'll fight with this bushing and show you what it looks like on the bed. All right, here is what, so here's what came out. This retains, the sway bar goes through the middle. This bushing goes like that. This is the outside of the car, this is the inside of the car. This one is pretty old, and it looks like somebody may have just cut this by hand to put it on there, but you can see it's cracking. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's not in great shape. These little retaining plates, totally fine. For your end link, remember it drops 90 degrees. What I'm using is just a T-handle for a 3/8 to push out the end. Push the little metal insert out so that you can fight with that bushing. So once I get that little metal insert out, we'll put that here, and then these guys, you can just push them out with a screwdriver or whatever you want to do to pop these guys out. These are not in terrible shape either. Probably a flathead screwdriver is the way to go. So I'm gonna pop this through. Why am I doing this on top of the new toolbox? All right, so once you get these guys out, what? Oh, it came out. Yeah. So that's what our sway bar end link looks like, and I'll show you why the new one is better in just a second. Right, I need that. All right, so we have our two new parts from 914 Rubber. This is the sway bar to body bushing. You can see the part number there. And this is the front suspension drop link set. And I'll show you why these are called easy install kit. These guys are great at thinking of ways to make these things easier to do. So this one, nice freshy, factory slitted. So this will be able to pop over, get sandwiched in, and be good to go. I'll probably put a little white lithium on there or something like that. That one's easy. For these guys, they're actually a split bushing. So you can take out the brand new zinc coated bolt all the way, and these guys just come apart. So when you put it in your new drop link, which I can literally do in no time at all, that's all you got to do. You're ready to rock. So no fighting with that, no wrestling with that. And you have new hardware, new everything in the drop link. So the drop link has an offset. I'm not sure how well you can see that. It points this way, and you can't see it from this direction, but you can see the offset is a little bit like this. So when we put that back on the car, I'll show you how the offset needs to go to make sure it fits right. All right, so I just cleaned up this area. You can see the sweet blue paint behind kind of the factory undercoat, dirt, whatever you want to call it. Remember, this car has a threaded inserts in the body because it's a factory Swaybar car. So I'm going to use a little bit of WD-40 white lithium just because I like to make sure we have a little bit of protection on this so we don't get any squeakage. And then this can go on with the larger side towards the car. So that way, I'll put that slot to the bottom, and we are going to take our plate, which fits over the square really easily, and then this is going to slide over our new and improved rubber bushing, and then we will cinch this down with our bolts here. So you've got 3 13mm bolts. You may need to use a deep, and you may need to use your like regular thin wall non-impact because it's really tight in these corners here in order to get this down. So we'll go ahead and suck this guy down, and then we will see about putting on the arm, the pivot arm, and the drop link. All right, we suck this down. You're gonna remember you need a thin wall socket or a 1/4-inch drive. I did have to push this back, and it is much stiffer in the new bushing or the new rubber piece there, so that's a great thing. It's gonna be a lot tighter in there. So remember, this arm needs to point down, and we'll adjust it, make sure we get both sides adjusted. Remember, the other side has got a little bit of issue we're gonna deal with. So this slides on, top plate, bottom plate, pinch these bolts down so that it's nice and tight on there, and you can move on to the drop link. All right, so we got our drop link here, and remember, it's got a little bit of a tilt to it, which needs to go to the outside. So the bottom should be further out this way than the top. So it is a nice snug fit in here. So, you know, work this in here whatever way you can. I'm gonna try not to bend this arm and try to slot this thing in here, and then we will get our bolt in. Fortunately, it came with a nice new pivot bolt, lock washer, and nut, all zinc plated. So we're gonna put this in here, and then what you're gonna have to do, because the suspension has drooped out, is you're gonna have to make sure you use it with your jack stand under the car, use your jack to lift the car up and bring this into the bottom of the A-arm or the bushing that you've got down there. So I haven't put the bottom one in. We'll pop that one in, and then we're gonna have to raise up the spindle here in order for this to meet the bottom of the arm. So right now the Swaybar was your droop stop limit. Now it's all in the strut. All right, this is your try this at your own risk warning. 4x4 under the rotor. We have our drop link in there, and I'm gonna basically lower the car while my assistant / owner of the car watches until we've lowered it just enough and lowered the suspension just enough for it to line up. So when you're in the ballpark, you can use a screwdriver to kind of finesse the last little bit in there and line yourself up, slide the bolt home, and you'll be good to go. Just make sure you raise the car back up to get the wheel on. All right, so pro tip from having done the other side, which we thought would just be a rinse and repeat, tie it in at the bottom first, and then work this top bolt in. It was much easier to kind of finagle a screwdriver and kind of line that up as you lowered the car down. So we're gonna lift this up, put the wheels back on, and call it a night. All right, guys, that's gonna be all for the Barefoot Garage 1914, driving a little bit better with that easy install kit for the body bushings and the in-link bushings from 914 Rubber. I will put a link to those part numbers down below so you guys can grab those for your car. Super easy to do. That took us an hour and a half, taking our time, having to fix a bent in-link and a bent tab on the A-arm. So as always, stay tuned to the Barefoot Garage right here on YouTube and between episodes at Barefoot Garage Jacks over on Instagram. See you guys.